Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Tuesday, September 10th, and we are talking about the Boston Celtics. More specifically, the Boston Celtics in the future, because it's September and we get creative here at How About Them Celtics. And so we're doing that today. Even though I think this is actually kind of interesting, but I recently wrote an article for Hardwood Houdini called The Dream Starting Five for the Boston Celtics in 5 years. So that would be opening night 2029, meaning a lot of guys who are under contract for 4 more seasons would have to have a new contract by then. So it'll look a lot different in Boston by the time that rolls around. So we're going to go through my picks, get Sam's thoughts on them, and if he disagrees, and see if he can guess, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll rock from there. How you doing today, Sam?
Doing pretty good. Chilling, hanging out. We've got actual creative idea for you guys today, so it should be a fun time. Thanks for coming out. Subscribe, leave a like, comment, hit the bell because we're doing pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps will be back when the season starts. You don't want to miss any of our content. Subscribe.
I know you're not a Mellow fan, but this is like I hit this all the time. I always go for this
you gotta find a new one. Do this.
Yeah.
Do this.
I could do the Rashford or whatever. But anyways, we'll start. We'll just go point guard to center. Because I feel like that could also be from least interesting or to most interesting, something like that. Also, shout out Fansided. They now have the schedule on the side of the articles, which I think looks pretty clean, which I didn't even realize till just now. But okay, well, I guess you saw the point guard, Sam. But if you were to guess, who would you want the point guard to be in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Yeah, this is where it gets tricky because you got to account for age and all that stuff. Because obviously,
yeah, I'm thinking. I think if Jaden Springer is the point guard in 5 years, something went really right.
Okay, so that's your dream.
Yes. I think if Jaden Springer is the point guard in 5 seasons, he had a great season. He's continued to prove himself, and that is the best case scenario. Okay. And he's young. He's only 21 right now, so he'll be 26.
Yeah. I did go with Derek White. I let it rock. I said he's gonna be 35 by then, so he'll be inching towards the probably not going to be as effective, but he's a good shooter. That usually doesn't deteriorate too much. The defense could go downhill a little bit. He could lose some of that burst, but this probably will be one of his last starting seasons. And so I said in my ideal world, it'll be him. Maybe you could have gone with Jaden Springer or Peyton Pritchard, something like that, and I would have been happy. But I rocked with Derek White because I figured at the very least, if they continue to have the same level of success, he'll be beloved in Boston even more. So like, I feel like he shouldn't be losing that spot anytime soon. So I went with Derek.
I understand that too. Like I think if Derek White is still a starting point guard in 2029, it could be either end of the spectrum, right? Like the reason why I picked Springer is I just think that only happens if it goes well. And like, I think it's probably a little bit of a pipe dream, but I think there is an avenue where he plays well this year and earns his keep and sticks around and they elect to give him more and more minutes, whatever he earns it. Derek White, if he's the point guard, is either still playing well or they are up the creek and they're paying him money that they shouldn't be paying him.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand. I'm going to do a little peek behind the curtain here just for the sake of it. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both in my dream starting 5, as you would expect. But just for the sake of you predicting before me showing, I have Jaylen at my 2 and Tatum at the 4. So if you would like to switch around and predict a third one now, then we can. But yeah, like I said, if you'd like to form your lineup however you want and guess the third of the Tatum Brown, whatever player 2 through 4, be my guest right now if you'd like to predict your dream at the other spot.
Well, I think I like Brown at the 2.
Okay.
I stand by that. I can't decide if I like Tatum at the 3 or 4 better. We'll say 4. He's only 26 right now. In 5 years, he'll be 31. He'll still be at his physical peak, so he'll probably be a little bit stronger. I'll play him at the 4. We'll play along.
Okay, and then context. You can't this is a dream world. Like if you. I was basing this off another article somebody wrote for like the Wizards last year, and they had like players who had yet to be drafted. Like they had Cooper Flag in their dream. You know what I'm saying? And they had like a free agent or a player that they traded for. So like you can, I'm not going to spoil what direction I went in, but you can pick anybody. So who would you run at your 3?
It's hard because I would love to say Cooper Flag, but there's no realistic avenue they would get.
You got to ride the line of dream.
There's no realistic avenue unless disaster happens that they would get AJ from Brockton. So, like, I would love to have those guys as New England kids, but I don't know if that's realistic. I don't want to like just stick to this because it's kind of boring, but like if Shireman is the starter, something went right.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's I'll go with that just because
Okay.
I think that's like a avenue that could happen, and if it happens that way, something went right.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I did not go in that direction. I went with Hauser because at that point he'll be 31.
Yeah.
Um,
Also not
I
bad.
I wrote an article about this as well today. I think Hauser is like an NBA starting caliber player right now, and the Celtics are just so good that he is going to be on the bench. I think if he was in a starting lineup, he could average like 13, 14 points a game off like just I mean, he's shot 6 threes a game this year. Imagine what he
Yeah.
could do in a starting lineup. He's a good defender. He's got the size. And obviously they would have to re-up with him again on an extension as they would for most of these players instead of Tatum because he is a player option that year. But I think Hauser is the perfect starter next to Tatum Brown and Derek White, and then the center who will be named shortly. So I went with him. I think you could pick other options, like if they sign players in free agency. If you really like Lonnie Walker, you could go with that if that works out. Jordan Walsh, if you're a huge fan of him, he turns it around. I think that'd be a fine fit too. But I went with Sam Hauser just because I think he is probably pretty close to a perfect NBA role player at this point for his size, for his position. And I think he'd just be a great fit with the other guys I mentioned in this list. So rock with that. Center is definitely the most interesting of the bunch because Al Horford is obviously getting up there, will not be around in 2025. Would be great. I guess if you want to talk Dream World, Al Horford finds a time machine. Kristaps Porzingis, there's a debate. Spoiler alert, I actually didn't go with Kristaps because I think my phrasing was there is no dream reality where Kristaps is not even in a dream world with his injuries be able to subside. He'd be 34 at that point, and even if like he was still around and starting, like he didn't even start the majority of games this year for the
Yes.
Celtics. Al Horford did, so it's like I kind of wanted to go in a different direction, anyways. But center, Sam, who's your dream center in 5 years?
Okay, so Dream Center, I wonder if we're gonna end up like accidentally having a sword fight on this one, but I think looking at this project right now, I do not know what the future of NBA free agency holds if it even becomes a thing anymore because teams love to get ahead of it. They
Sure.
like to trade. But Miami is a team that I think we both agree we don't know what the fuck they're doing, and especially in 5 years, I really don't know what they're going to be doing. I'm not convinced that Bam is going to be there in 5 years, and Bam has been somebody who pretty consistently is showing a strong friendship with Tatum. Those two get along very well. He's someone who plays defense. If he was to join the Celtics in 5 years, he would be 33, so it wouldn't be ideal. You probably wouldn't have peak physical Bam. But if you get him at the right contract, that could be a dream scenario, right?
I like that a lot. I didn't go in that direction, but I really like that. And now I can put them on the thumbnail. So thank you for getting extra creative.
You're
That's fire. I
welcome.
love that.
Yeah, well,
I
I
love
want to be
Bam.
creative. I could have been like, well, Anton Watson's the starting center. Something went right.
I mean, hey, you had to go Springer for years. You obviously know I had to go Tillman for mine. I love him. I love Xavier Tillman. I think he's the perfect Al Horford replacement. So I went pretty chalk with mine. I think I tried to ride the line of realism and dream a little, maybe too much. I could have gotten fancy with Bam. I really like Bam though. I mean, I've said this in the pods when we've been doing the rankings or whatever. I think Bam's criminally underrated. I think he's probably the best defender in the NBA, or he's up there at the very least. He's kind of slowly falling under the Spoelstra spectrum where probably should have a depoy, probably should be a head coach of the year. Hasn't gotten one yet. But I love Bam a lot. And like you said, who knows where the Heat are in 5 years? I have a sneaky suspicion they'll figure it out.
Other center names, just to kick him around. It would be fun if Rob was healthy enough to come back. Won't happen, but it would be fun. Aside from him, maybe they would draft somebody. I don't know. I think ideally they draft somebody. I think that's the answer, really.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the guys they have now are going to be starting caliber. It doesn't mean they suck. It doesn't mean that they don't have a future with the Celtics. It's just like, I don't know, man. If Xavier Tillman's starting for the Celtics, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's probably not the greatest.
I get it.
He's probably like at that Tice level at peak, right? Like when Tice was
sure.
starting, like he was solid, but a lot of people still felt like the team had a weak point. Like, I don't know if that'd be the greatest. And obviously, that's not what you're trying to say. You just think it's probably the more realistic avenues they can take to getting a solid starter.
I mean, my dream world is that he becomes Al Horford. So that's my dream.
Sure. Okay.
But
It's me saying Springer because someone in the
yeah,
comments
100%.
goes,
Yeah,
"Man,
yeah.
you said Springer, and if he's the
I
point
know,
guard,
I
we're in
know.
trouble." Like,
100%.
I think there's just a difference there. He's like 21. You don't necessarily know what he's capable
For what
of.
it's worth, I originally wrote Anton Watson, then I switched it for Tillman. Just because I like Tillman. But I do think either would be fine. And also Xavier Tillman's only a year older than Anton Watson for what it's worth. So it's not like it's like, oh, he's so much younger.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think drafting somebody or Bam, because Bam's fun, would be an option. And I also think switch out Derek drafted or something. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let us know who your dream starting five would be in the comments. And I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us who your starting five would be. Hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily uploads. Like I said at the beginning, new pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps when we're back in season, and then videos like this one in between to keep you busy. We'll also be streaming here down the line, so keep your eyes up for that. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods and recaps will be there for you. So if you follow, they go right to your feed. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. If you want to send your starting lineup there, go ahead. Send in your rat list. Send in whatever Celtics thoughts you have in the lovely month of September. We will take them. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address. Again, the socials are at How About Them C's. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook is just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jackson NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. It's across. Bye.
Taco. Come on.
Taco's having some fun here.